Hi guys, and welcome to another Word for Today. Word for Today is where I take one word from one chapter in the book of Proverbs and share some thoughts about that. And today's word is the word heart. And we're going to be talking a little bit more about that. We'll be right back. There's a great passage of scripture in the book of Proverbs in chapter 4, verse number 23, that says this: "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." And so there in that passage of scripture, we're told about the importance of our heart and guarding it or protecting it, looking after it, caring for it is really what we need to do, as this proverb teaches us there in Proverbs 4 and 23. Really, this passage of scripture in many respects is a foreshadowing of what Jesus taught in Matthew chapter 15. In Matthew 15, that the Jewish leaders and teachers of the law were upset with Jesus' disciples because they were eating with unwashed hands, and that had nothing to do with hygiene. It had everything to do with these ceremonial washings that the Jewish leaders went through before they would partake of a meal. And Jesus used that occasion to teach some important truths. And in Matthew chapter 15, verse number 11, he says this: "What goes into someone's mouth does not defile them, but what comes out of their mouths is what defiles them. For out of the heart comes evil thoughts, murder, sexual immorality, theft, a false testimony, and slander." And so all of those things are deep within our hearts, and those things bubble up, and it's those things that defile us. And so what we need to do, we need to guard our heart. But the big question is how do you do that? And in the book of Psalms, Psalm 119, verse number 11, it gives us some good insight on how we can guard our heart. It tells us in that passage of scripture, "I have hidden your word in my heart so that I may not sin against you." That's Psalm 119, verse number 11. And so one of the other ways that you can guard your heart is with healthy boundaries. You know, when it comes to boundaries, I think a lot of people are confused about that, but I like to use the word redemptive boundaries, because in a relationship, and particularly in a problem relationship, when we set boundaries, we're not doing that to punish the other person. What we're doing is that we're seeking to preserve what's good in the relationship and promote what's good in the relationship. And so really what we're saying when we set a boundary is that this is the good that I will welcome into my life. This is the good that I will welcome into my heart. And the things that are going to be harmful to me or for me is that I'm going to keep out. And so it's a good way, a boundary is a good way to protect your own heart. And we need to guard our heart like we're told in this passage of scripture. I would encourage you to do what Psalm 139, verse number 23 and 4 says, that it says, "Search me, God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there's any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting." And so inviting God to help you to know what's in your heart so that you can guard your heart, because our hearts is what promotes our well-being all throughout our lives. And so this is our word for today, heart. I'd like to encourage you to kind of meditate on that throughout the week and see how you can do a better job of guarding your heart. Well, that's it for now. I hope to see you next time here on Word for Today. Bye-bye.